Hello everyone. Today I would like to talk about a very beautiful topic. And the reason it is beautiful because it is grand. It is a very grand topic. And we see through our many movies, and there have been many, just in general, moments in man's history where armies have been relevant, where men have gathered together for a certain cause. Now, all these causes usually that have started wars have been for trying to maintain something or trying to win something or trying to come on top somewhere. But now, I would like to talk to you very clearly about, and to also reveal to you the title of this episode, known as Armies of Action. And what that means is that we are seeing that we want to create people who are naturally in flows of action, in complete presence to their own display. We want to recognize that we want to simply appreciate the value of action. And in a world where we are filled with distractions, action is dying. Action is forgetting to be active. In other words, throughout your day, you are not putting your full effort of action. If action was a general, it would seek those who also act. And so the cause of being active is more than just physical education, is more than just moving around. It is moving around your ideas. Because a man can be prevented from movement the minute he is not aware of an idea that is keeping him there. Visualize yourself holding your greatest idea. And you may feel it as a sword, but recognize that this great idea is here and it has come to you. You do not only have relationships with people, you have relationships with ideas that are vast. You will see that, especially those who go into self-contemplative states, will recognize that they are walking beside infinity. And that even the chaos is a graceful speaker. The chaos of existence, the moment where all order can be deconstructed, like your physicality at the time of death. And so you must have the ability to confront the worst idea that can come to you, because you want to bring a greater ability of awareness to ideas, especially to your ideas. And it will make you more sensitive. To become more aware of your mind is like that moment where you kind of slow it down a bit. You slow things down a bit to see a bit more clearly. And that's simply it. Throughout your day, slow things down, but keep the flow of action going. And so, don't think you're a turtle, but have faith in where you're going. Because there are some hares, who are too arrogant to let themselves see their victory. But there are also hares who just understand the race clearly and they walk through the fire. And what I mean by that is that you finish your race. and you recognize that you have the ability to become aware of a greater race because you've just finished one. You are building things, and the most beautiful thing I can tell you is that I recognize that I'm not here to make a lot of money. I mean, who doesn't like to make financial abundance, but I'm not here to act in a certain way. I am here to be. And the being that is here to be can do anything. Only when you are being something that is molded by limitation can you see the limitless. And so, to be aware of the limitless while your limitation there simply means that your state of self-awareness is no longer ignorant to ideas that it was pushing away. What that means is that we first have people who their stability of mind and their exploration of their cellular realms wasn't that able. And that's why we've had a lot of wars, a lot of confrontation, because men could not communicate each other in ways where their hearts could be seen. And that is simply because you have not looked at the sensitivity of life and the beauty. Because my ideas changed the minute I recognized the beauty of life. And so the moment you recognize the beauty of life, the armies of action have just come by your side. They are behind you, waiting for your call, waiting for your attention to simply look at something, and you just emanate the clarity of the answer. You see, you are allowing yourself to believe that you cannot believe something. You believe that you cannot believe something. And that is what this belief is. But the problem is that it doesn't matter what form you believe. The concept of believing is an attitude that is telling you that your own experience is not enough, and so you need to believe something. You need to follow words that should point to clarity, but you have not looked at the end of the halls to see where it leads. And this is not to make faith stutter. This is actually to amplify your faith. This is actually to say that look at your knowing, whether it's in your religion, whether it's in your spirituality, whether it's in your sciences, whether it's in whatever moment of awareness that you have. Just know that a complete state of mind has no need to search for completion. And an incomplete state of mind is always stuck in the idea of completion. And so we are the beings who are complete to then be able to be the answer, the most beautiful answer to problematic questions. There is no problem. There is only the problem you are aware of. And so let us take Einstein's words of wisdom. No problem can be solved from the same level of consciousness that created it. Albert Einstein. No problem can be solved from the same level of consciousness that created it. It is very important to be aware that how you are aware of the problem and where the problem originates. In other words, the moment you have a problem, the way you can solve it is you must have an awareness more than the problem. If you're stuck in a room, you must look beyond the room. And so I'm realizing that people have stopped asking life who they are. And the most immediate life that should be asked, or can be even asked, is your life. You are the observance of your life expressing itself beautifully and in many ways. And many of these ways at times are even simultaneous and in relationships that we cannot explain, but just see it as similar as to a random explosion of fireworks or the moving of the flame of the fire. It has an order because we can see it, but it is not an order relevant to the linearity of man. There is non-linear order. And at times if you see that other things are kept here, even in your subtler realms of thought, then you will look at why they're kept here. You will become curious. Man's curiosity is that why is he here? Because he's here. If he was not here, if you were in an infinite state of flux, in an infinite state where your form was changing, and your awareness constantly was navigating between formless and form, you will recognize that man's language hasn't even evolved to a point. In other words, if I brought the greatest poetry books, I would realize that the poets knew that there's some things that man will try to write and try to explain and try to see, but never can because he has not allowed himself to see it. If certain postulates in your beginning approach to calculating things are inaccurate, or if you do not know that, let's say, your name is your name, how would you show your driver's license when you're pulled over? You will recognize that the most beautiful quality of a human being is to have an ability to simultaneously perceive simple and complex relationships, not externally, but as an internal aspect of its own nature. So the moment calmness came was that a calm nature could not see a vicious jungle. You will see many things change, and if you limit yourself and keep fixed ideas on these changes, you will feel like a huge thing is changing for you. In other words, if I for a month tell you that, for example, that I like cake, even though it's very relevant, but let's say if I suddenly said I like this thing, I like this object, I like this food, or let's say I like cake, I like cake, I like cake, I like cake, I like cake. The moment I don't cake, it's not that things are not a piece of cake, but just you will see that you will feel more influenced by the thing which your attention has engaged with. In other words, if I'm, for example, around my partner, my attention is constantly creating that form into ways of my own preference, or in the ways that I am naturally receiving the moment. And so in those ways, you create the way, and you always have been. The problem is that when you go through life, and when you go to a self-aware being like man, and tell him that your reality has to be just one reality because this is the only one we can agree on, and this is the one we can very clearly see, you're not just excluding the ability to explore as consciousness, but you are keeping yourself blind with your own hands. that is unnecessary, and the solution is instant. So in other words, I am looking here and people are still having problems. The answer is your life force to your problem. The answer to any condition or circumstance that is feeling opposed to you is the ability of your being to confront, the ability of action, the ability to envision the armies of action by your side. And what that means is that at times when you really know a sense of not knowing, in that you find the humility that allows you to speak about anything without really directly being thrown into that ideology. In other words, you're an able being. The armies of action are by your side. There's no failure that needs to be there. Utilize your moment and allow it to be its most active expression. Allow your moment to be its most active expression. Do not try to be active. Do not try to think that, I need to go do something. Do not have the same gym mentality when you're coming to self-observance. And the gym mentality is, I need to keep doing the same thing and I'll see more of it, At times you see that in self-contemplation and a lot of self-reflective practices, or the moment where you're sitting down to observe who you are confronted by the things about yourself that you like and the things about yourself that you don't like, and the things about yourself that you don't like, you usually push into others. So what we see the mind of man doing is that the minute it is not comfortable, as it's moving out of its comfort zone, it puts someone else into the outside of the comfort zone and internally keeps itself there. What that means is that if I want to sit on this chair, you can pull me, but I'll still hold on to it. I'll feel as if I'm not being pulled. When a condition of life is happening and you are present there, listen, the condition or the circumstance or that very difficult experience that you went through is just a presence in which you are present in. It is just you are present in the moment in where that is how your moment is made. And the moment is truly where the treasures are revealed. Your moment of awareness, your moment of being, and the greatest actions also come from an existential allowance that has allowed itself to move faster than thought by instantaneously knowing the act in which the moment communicates. A lot of people, we are evolving. We are seeing people talk about channeling, people talking about talking to other beings, talking to different forms of energy. And it's needed and it's the time for it. There's a beauty in how the human being is sprouting. Such a beauty. You will see it. Men in the past could only comfortably acknowledge their physicality. And it was actually uncomfortable even. But as man began to speak and to be more able to stabilize and maintain his physical body, he began creating other senses of body, as in thoughts, language, names, concepts, definitions, terms. So you see, after you got physical stability, after your physical survival got the green light, you drove to working with the complexity of your internal reality. Now, something fascinating has occurred when beings have looked at their internal reality. Their understanding of external reality has transformed with them. And so, you will feel moments that you are not scared of death. You're not bothered by death because you are aware of the depth of the continuation of life. And that is shapeless, my friends. Because you will see. Now, again, back to these people who were channelers, or these people who feel like they're talking to some other face in the unknown. It is actually an element, an aspect in their own internal reality that is keeping the external reality there. It is not creating it, it is keeping it there, keeping it there. And so we think there is creation. Do you see? Because it's kept there, because it's there. What that means is that if you enter the room and the projector screen is on, you will feel, and if you only saw that screen, you will feel that's it. It's been on, it's always been there. But the minute you recognize that you can, in a sense, journey back through your eyes to then come back again into your newer gaze, you are constantly confronting the formless through your form, and your form through the formless. In other words, if I ask you who is aware of a thinker, that is a formless sense of awareness. In other words, there's literally nothing there, they're just present to a sense of personality construct, to a sense of something specific. You may find it very interesting, and you will see that for a grown-up, an escalator may be something very easy. It's very simple. You just go. But for a child who's never stepped on it, once you are not clearly seeing something or understanding how you go through, you're not, you feel as if there is an opposition that is keeping you from your reach. And the minute, and not the minute, but the moment all opposition dissolves is the moment when you have dissolved as well. All form has transformed into its formless awareness, where every person who thought they were talking or receiving from the other side was in essence developing themselves to be more able to confront many projections of reality intertwined. And so we have had people who have put their faith in intermediaries. And these intermediaries have then told them, your faith is beyond me, because your eyes are still conceiving me. The truth that even revelation seeks to reveal is one that is unspeakable simply because it's untouched. And so know that you are your greatest activation, and in an instant the armies of action are by your side. Have a very clear and authentic attitude. Have a very honest sense of self. When you're around people, don't create stories. Don't distract your mind. I find it's a limited mind that is more attracted to how others are off than to how others are aligned. Observe deeply to then recognize the alignment that even reminds planets of who they are. Much blessings and namaste.